go over already what you said out in the corner about your position and you know, the fact that you're for the people, because the people need to know that there's a lot of fear amongst our people with those who are involved in politics. They think that everyone's dirty, they think that everyone's crooked, blah, 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 blah. So if you kind of articulate, again, your stance and who you speak for and why you speak for them, you get what I'm saying? So when people see you, it's not just, well, I don't know him. I think he's dirty because of whatever mindset you're coming from. I want you to enucleate again on my platform.
Yeah, well, the best thing that I have going for myself is that I make it a point to be visible in my community.
Yeah.
You know, I try to patronize every business that I can, and I make it a point to go there often. So my primary focus is on our youth. Not to sound cliche or to sound like I may be ripping off the great Whitney Houston's, may she rest in peace, but the children are our future. Like they really are. And so we have to make sure we keep nourishing our children. We have to make sure we plant those seeds early. You know, like I was saying earlier, children are sponges, they absorb. And I'm a proponent of living things growing to adapt to their environment and the stimuli that's in their environment. If we have positive stimuli in our environment, then our children are going to absorb that positive stimuli. So what's the primary difference between what we call the south side and what we call the east side? Well, the difference is the stimuli. When you have our children walking to the bus stops, walking to school, passing beer bottles,
especially
drug needles
on Broad Street.
On Broad Street.
Right where the 7-Eleven is.
Yes.
Our children, I've noticed when I was younger, I went to Kentucky. Tolman High School. I would get on the bus from Kentucky, come back to where I was, you know. We already know, you know, we gotta work, you gotta finagle certain things when you want a better education for your child.
Yes, sir.
So I'd go past Broad Street and see our people, mostly our people, at that bus station, and homeless people around, drinking liquor, smoking cigarettes. That's all they're seeing their entire time throughout high school. That's exactly what you're talking about.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
And that's a problem.
Very much so. And so to finish my point, so imagine the difference between walking down Broad Street and passing all the panhandlers, the people standing on the corner, all the stores with the welcoming cigarette and liquor advertisements versus living on the east side and walking to school by freshly landscapes in the mindset of what you're seeing while you're traveling to school to go take an exam. You see what I'm saying? It's the stimuli is big. And what I'm trying to explain to people is we can have that. We can have that. We can have that on this side of the river. And that's the primary reason why I'm running for city council. I often tell people, you know what? I wish I didn't have to run for city council. You know, I wish I could just raise my son and daughter, you know, and just enjoy my life with my wife and my family.
Excuse me, brother. On that, can you say who you are for the record on this?
Yeah, no, I can. I am Gerard Catala.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
running for city council in Ward 9 offense. I'm 40 years old, and I hope to get everyone's support. And for November 6th, that's when the election is. And I often tell my friends and just people in general that I don't really associate with these imaginary lines. So when I hang up signs and when I go speak to people, I tell them I'm maybe running for city council and I'm elected by a certain ward. I'm running for city council. That means I care about the whole city. My concern is the whole city, not just my ward. I understand that my primary focus is on my ward, but I refuse to neglect any other part of the city. I'm running for a title that's called city council, so not ward council, which they do have, but I'm not running for ward council. I'm running for city council. So you know, I hope to be inspiration to younger brothers and sisters, so that way they can have greater levels of motivation. They can see us walking around in the suits and ties and with the badges and the pins.
Belts on.
Pants up, belts on. You know, let's get away from just what we see on TV, because what they don't understand is
that's
that
not reality.
It's not reality, and it's strategically put in front of them for them to absorb. This back to this sponge mentality. If that's all they see and that's all they know,
That's what you're gonna do.
living
You're most
things,
likely gonna turn up like
living things grow and adapt
Yep.
to what they see to their environment. Their environment is what they see every day.
And can you show the viewers what you have in your pocket?
Yeah, actually, yeah. So right here, this is my badge. It means I'm a life member, the Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. A lot of notable members in our organization.
show us
What's behind that? Oh, yeah. I don't leave home without this. I don't leave home without this. It's a copy of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. I do not. This is the real, true law of the land. So, you know, there are a bunch of other codes that they come up with, but this is the true law of the land. So,
Also,
I don't leave
this
home
is
without
kind
that.
of politics aside, but
Okay.
you have tattoos on your hands.
I do.
Can you show the viewers? I mean,
No,
if
it's fine.
all
Yeah,
right.
no. Look, one thing, so I have my business cards. They haven't come out yet. They're in press. They are literally hard plastic, see-through, transparent cards. And the top of it's gonna say, "Transparency in Government."
Yeah.
And I believe in, you know, transparency.
Yeah.
So when you ask about my
Casper, you're
tattoos,
stating the
I
obvious,
have
brother.
no problem
Yeah.
showing my
Now-
tattoos.
now-
Every one of my tattoos tells a story of
Yeah.
my life.
Who you are.
Official
Hold on.
Mason.
Hold on, don't comment on that. I want the brother to have the platform.
Okay, I'm
The reason why I asked is, like we said, when this camera wasn't rolling,
Yes.
when we spoke to the candidate for mayor, Kobe Dennis, we talked about reaching our brothers. Some people think because they're past or whatever, they have tattoos and stuff like that, because there's also a negative stigma on that. If just because you're tattooed, have 11, but you can't see anything. And there's this negative thing like, oh, I have all these tattoos, so I can't be something like that. Here's a brother right here running for councilman with, and he's proud of his tattoos. He doesn't hide them. He knows who he is, and he's showing the world the best him. And I commend you.
Yeah, so I do have quite a few tattoos. The ones that are visible, the two that are on my hand.
Yeah.
The one on my left hand, it says Finest, but it's an extension of another tattoo that comes down my arm that says Brooklyn's Finest, and that's my daughter, Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So Brooklyn's Finest. Clearly, I know she's the finest, and an obvious spin-off of, you know, Biggie and Jay. But on my right hand, it's more powerful. It's a crown, and it says Catala under it.
Yeah.
It's a 5-pointed crown, and I have my mother, 2 uncles, and an aunt.
Yeah.
So
So
they
they
represent
represent your
and
family
symbolize
lineage.
represent my family.
So, in other words, it can be explained as a family crest or coat of
Well,
arms.
you know what it is? What it does is this is the hand that you reach out and shake people's hand with. I want them to know.
You represent your family.
And I'm a king.
Yeah.
And I'm a king.
That's the same thing this
And
represents.
I'm absolutely,
Same thing.
absolutely. So my Instagram handle is Sovereign King Catala. You know, so I understand who I am.
Yeah.
I don't try to pretend. I live in reality.
Know thyself.
So absolutely.
Yeah. And I think you're a great example.
Appreciate that.
I think all.
No, no,
Well,
absolutely.
I'd like to put that on the.
I appreciate
You know what I mean? Because those guys, and an example is people mimic what they see. So let's show them something better, and I appreciate that you're trying. You know what I mean? And the goal is to win, but you're still trying.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And we were talking to Kobe, where he said this isn't a popularity contest. He's in it to win.
Yeah.
And I feel the same thing with you. You're not about popularity. You're in it to win.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And so let me just a short story on how I even got in to politics so heavy. There was a young brother in 2010 who was running for office, and I was over my cousin's house, and we were sitting down talking, and he walked in with this 4x4 sign, and all I saw was this big
It's 10, 11.
black face sitting on this sign, and it said Shannon McDonald for City Council. The first thing I said was, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
An hour later, I was co-campaign manager,
Yeah.
and we ran a great race. We actually would have won. We lost to the master level at the time, which is no longer a thing. It's no longer active. It's no longer a master level here. That's great. But yeah, I was just so inspired, and I tell you that story because that's what I hope to bring
inspiration
to future generations, to people coming up behind me.
Yep.
And ironically enough, he was actually younger than me, but it was just
Still
so inspiring, and it motivated me so much that 4 years later I said, you know, I need to put myself on the ballot. Because already, I already do these things. I'm already a community activist. You know, I have this initiative called the Catala Capital City Cleanup. I go around, I pick up mattresses. When I see dressers and bulk items sitting in front of people's houses, I just call. It's really that simple. You call Waste Management, and Waste Management comes and picks it up. I suggest that, you know, we just put it back on the city docket. We shouldn't have to call. Just come by and pick it up. You see what I'm saying? And that's one of the that's something that I'm trying to get pushed. If I'm fortunate enough to be elected by the people, is, you know, that let's keep our streets clean. Because again, we are affected by the stimuli that is in our community. So. Yeah, no, I definitely appreciate it. I definitely appreciate the conversation. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, ladies. You know, it's a great conversation.
So, you know, I'll wrap this up. I wanted to talk to the people that answer some questions, but we already know you're on a time limit. Yeah. Oh God, go see the. So, I just want to let y'all know on our position. We already know we can't vote within their system because, you know, we're Moorish nationals. We're not citizens of a construct. But the brother's clearly trying to make effective change the way he can. So we decided to have a sit down with him, support him, because the Prophet said unwarranted opposition, for lack of a better words, you know, I'm paraphrasing, is foolish. So it would be stupid for us as Moors to not speak with those who are running for positions within this de facto, I guess, system that we have going on. Because when you look at the Moors in, like, as an example, Philadelphia and other municipal cities, their councilmen issued those proclamations declaring that the Moors are in fact Aboriginal and indigenous to the Americas. So there's a lot of fear that's associated with politicians and, well, he's a Mason and it's scary, blah, 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 blah. We need to literally shatter that fear and actually extend the hand and reach out to these people. Because around here, there's not a lot of Asiatics in politics. So we need to contact those who are in politics so that we can get around the other Asiatics around them and communicate to them, this is who we are, we know who we are, we can't be part of this system. Help us bring back our Aboriginal and Indigenous de jure government, and this is a good learning opportunity. Like the Prophet said, he's going to keep the Europeans long enough, or keep them here long enough for us to learn government. So that is a peace, study, study, study. Assalamu alaikum.